Look at this road to San Diego. I'm heading into San Diego. I thought there was a sign, Alice, 28 miles of San Diego. Then the next sign just said Alice, right. Of course, I know that. Agua Dulce and Corpus Christi left. So no other sign to San Diego. But I went left. This is the road. What? Look how deserted this road is. What's the criteria in Nueces County? When I tell you about the oral sex things, that's not new. That's not made up. That was one of the other things that took place for a very long time that I talked about before, that the guys had to perform on an officer. It's not new. 5 years ago I had videos just as mad as you see me the last 2 days. Well, why now again, John? Well, because when you have continual things like that, and now what you're seeing is some of you might have thought, well, that can't be true because if the leadership in Nueces County, meaning the police chief and others, you might think if that was true, certainly that wouldn't go on. What you're seeing now in San Diego is not only did you have the dead body of his daughter in the bed, shooting herself in the head with his own police weapon, but you had notes in the room showing incest. She was a teenager. Mr. Mark Gonzalez actually referenced that in the article. And you also had semen in the bed. And that man, the Robstown, I believe it said, detectives investigated, found, of course, enough cause. In a case like that, you have enough cause for that man to be in prison. But it was sent to Mark Skirka. I just passed up Mark Gonzalez' old law firm. I guess he had his office over here, because I passed it up before. And in any county in the USA, that man would not still be the top law enforcement officer of one of your cities. But here, with all that evidence, Mark Skirka declined to charge the man or arrest the man. So he maintained, the girl was murdered or killed in 2010. So that, 7 years? And he maintained top law enforcement official ruling this place. What do you think his wife, his ex-wife, the mother of the daughter who was killed, or suicide, how do you think she feels riding around, unless she left this town, knowing that she could be on any of these deserted roads, and that chief right now can pull up and say, I'm sure he doesn't see the posts as of yet, and he could say, what are you doing on this road? Doing a video. Oh, I'm documenting. Here comes a vehicle. I could say I'm documenting the case. I'm doing a reporter's case on the murder or death of your daughter. Now, how easy would it be for him to pull out his service revolver and say, oh, you just went for my weapon? And then to say, I had to kill him. Well, surely there'd be evidence if he did that, John. Evidence. Did you see the evidence? Did you see the evidence? And I do consider all of those that have been here for a long time, those other judges and all, they know each other for a very long time here in South Texas. I could have gone to Bishop and Kingsville, which these little roads, this is like the city Kingsville is bigger than San Diego. And can you imagine people across the country just reading the article to that one link, seeing the national media still till this day questioning whether Judge Tom Greenwell was murdered or not? And then you have the local official. Why are you upset also with the pastors that? I'm upset because if you're an older pastor and you've been around and you're 70, say, and when you're young as a believer, the big thing is I want to make sure I make it to heaven. But then that's settled. Christ died for us. But if you're still, I just want to make sure That's a fear that prevents you from speaking out. That's a fear. I'm not saying I'm John the Baptist, but there was this type of calling to finally say enough is enough. I have the picture of the girl that was murdered or killed in a raid overseas, the ISIS thing, but she was there as a young girl. I just put her picture up. She was killed like 5 years ago. She was trying to help the people. It might have been Syria at the time. But the U.S. did a raid, a bombing, and ISIS informed us. Now the girl, she was taken, being kind of held, kidnapped, and forced to marry one of the terrorist leaders and all. But I saved her picture because I forget the name now. Because she died. She gave her life for a cause. How noble, how courageous. A young Christian girl, maybe 25. And we have older men pastoring churches that feel that we never speak out, we never discuss. I'll mention one that came to my mind, and I can't give the names on this, but it has to do again with the whole mindset of CCPD. And I won't give the names, but there was one of the guys on the street. He wasn't a real good friend of mine, but he was on the street. And some of my other friends, they were good friends with him. But about maybe a year ago, he died suddenly, and everybody was surprised, and he was helping some friends move some stuff out of storage and all, and supposedly he died of a heart attack, and everybody was surprised. He was young, a little younger than me, I believe. But his brother's a cop, which is fine, and so maybe they say now, maybe there was something else, that it wasn't a heart attack. And a few of my friends were there when he collapsed and all. And so some of the little word on the street is the cop now, who was his brother, who seemed to be I don't think I've ever met that officer. But now the word on the street is he's out looking now for one of my other friends, but it's not like in official capacity. But he's going to maybe he's mad that the other guys were there, and I don't know. But the mindset of, now this cop is off duty, and he's going to carry out a vengeance or whatever, that has been acceptable in CCPD. That has been acceptable. And now you see the level, the standard. The chief of San Diego, do you understand? It's not that it wasn't known, the crimes that were committed in this particular case. It was known. But because of connections, corruption within this county, even sexual crimes committed against a teenage girl can be known by the DA's office, the former DA, Mr. Skirka. How would that happen in any other county? You say, well, it just happens. It happens here because you got so much corruption here. I take offense that Markle spends a lot of time, and when you hear him speak on the Jim Lago show, people think, oh, well, surely these things don't happen. And the ones that know that they happen, these things happen, they're under an oppression. The one cop from the other state, Oklahoma, maybe his name was Holtzclaw, he continually made these younger black girls, because they were young, they were in poverty, sort of like homeless guys. But that was going on for years, until it was an oral sex thing. He made like a 50-year-old black woman who was a Sunday school teacher, pulled her over, just give me oral sex right now. You would think cops, yes, they do that. And that went on for many years. And finally, that older woman reported it. And when a lady cop came in, this was the Holtzclaw case, to interview her at the hospital, she was afraid that she was going to be murdered. And she said, oh, you won't believe what happened. This cop, he made. And the lady cop said, no, we know he's been doing that. Yeah, he's kind of got a problem with sexual assaults. He's been on the department. That's what surprised her. Now, you have that going on here, okay? I'll upload this. Another vehicle's coming here, right?